my name is Sarah Casey, and I'm going to do my presentation on Theme of Light and Darkness in the Heart of Darkness. A common theme in the Heart of Darkness is the reference to light and dark moments. So the beginning of a journey. When Marlowe is getting ready to leave for the Congo, he asks to go see a doctor in order to go. When he goes to this consultation, Marlowe begins a light and casual conversation with the doctor, but it slowly turns into a dark discussion. Marlowe began the conversation by sitting over their vermouth. He glorified the company's business, and by and by I expressed casually my surprise at him not going out there. The easy and light conversation turned to a dark discussion very quickly. I always ask leave, in the interest of science, to measure the crania of those going out there. And when they come back too? Oh, I never see them. So Marlowe goes into this conversation and into this appointment thinking that he's just going to have a nice checkup and then he'll be gone. He didn't realize that he'd be finding out that hardly anyone comes back from the Congo alive. That the doctor that's in charge of seeing all the people going has never met someone who came back from the Congo alive. So I think it's really just a wake-up call for Marlowe to see that the Congo holds so much darkness and so much death, and that back at home is a light and bright environment. So I think it's really just a shock to him. Colors clashing. Throughout the novel, Conrad divides the black and white men, or as some may see it, dark and light. There is a big difference between the light-skinned men and the dark-skinned men. For example, native black men are treated as slaves and mules, as if they are less than the white men. 6 black men advance in a file, balancing small baskets full of earth on their heads. So instead of the white Englishmen doing their own work, they're getting the dark-skinned men to do all the work for them, to go into the forest and get ivory, to carry all their belongings. It's really just inhumane and a horrible way to treat people. The white men hold power over the black, but the black could overpower white easily with how many there was of them. Light ideas are pure and innocent, but it's not in this. But that is not the case in this novel. The light-skinned men are cruel and unkind, treating the darker men with no respect. The dark men, though, are innocent. Their home was invaded by strangers who took over as if they owned the place. The dark men were pure and wholesome people that were taken advantage of. So really, the white men came into the Congo thinking that they were so powerful, but really they were dominated in strength and number. There was a lot of men who already lived there, darker men, who could have easily overpowered them if they weren't so starved and had no food and were worked to the bone. They were so weak from doing all the work for the Englishmen that they would honestly go into the forest and just lay there and wait for death to get them because they had nothing else to fight for. So if they were strong enough and they had enough food and they were treated properly, I'm pretty sure that they could have overpowered the Englishmen easily. Ivory lost in the darkness. Another way light and darkness is found in the novel is when the dark forest holds the white ivory that all the white men are looking for. The darkness holds the light, the ivory deep in the black jungle. This is a great example of light and darkness in the novel because in order for the light to exceed the darkness, it must search throughout the darkness to find what it wishes to obtain. So the ivory that everyone is so crazed about, that they want so badly that they're willing to kill each other and hurt each other, is actually buried in a dark forest. So the darkness is surrounding this pure thing that they want, this pure white ivory. And they're forcing the other men, the dark natives, to go into the forest to find them what they want. They're not willing to risk their own lives, but they're definitely willing to risk the lives of others. Conrad purposely made it that the ivory was hiding in the dark to show how dark can cover up the light. But all one needs to do is look for it, and the light can be released back into one's life. So even though it was in the darkness, and even though it was in a dangerous and treacherous place, it was still able to be obtained. It was still able to be found and used for money. So even though it's surrounded by darkness, there's always going to be a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Night and day. This novel compares black men and white men, sunlight and midnight, death and life, and bright ivory and dark forests. This novel makes a point to show how darkness can be found in many ways, but that can again also show light. So even though this book and this novel is surrounded by darkness, it's surrounded by death and by ambushes and by people being mistreated